there's a mystery afoot in Teleria, and we're going to have a live stream to figure out what it is. Welcome on the Deadwoodjedi. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Obviously, you guys have been hearing about these mysterious audio files going around about new content dropping in the game. And I can tell you that I've gotten a piece of information. I'm not the only content creator that has. Some of the other ones are Senda and Victor TES, Cold Brew Gaming, YST, and Nub Raids. And all of us are going to get together tomorrow, Tuesday, 8 p.m. UTC. I think that's like 1 in the afternoon on the East Coast, and I think it's about 10 a.m. on the West Coast. Don't hold me to that. I'm bad with time zones. Point is, Tuesday morning, we're going to be live streaming right here on my channel to share the extra information that we've all been given. So that's what's coming up. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, that's what the rest of this video is going to be. I just wanted to make sure you all know that we're going to have this live stream where we're going to talk about this new information. We're going to speculate. We're going to impart whatever information we've gleaned and kind of go over all that. But what I figured I would do now, because I haven't done anything on it so far, is go through all the audio that's been shared among 4 different creators. I believe it's Hell Hades, Ash, Scratch, and somebody else, MTG Jedi, I believe. They've all gotten little audio files kind of hinting at what is going to be coming into the game. It's a voice from, What's Next in Raid, that guy talking about this new area of the game. And I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited to talk about it with you guys on stream tomorrow. But I figured what we could do today is go over the audio, listen to it, and speculate a little bit. I don't want to get too into it because we're going to be streaming about it tomorrow. Speculate a little bit as to what is coming down. So that's why the headphones, why there's no hat, so I can make sure I can hear everything that's being said and follow along. So we're going to have, I'll have the closed captions down below so you guys can see what I'm hearing here, but let's go through the audio and what it is.
Welcome to the free city of Cintranos, traveler. The place was once a glittering harbor known as the Jewel of the South, whose wharfs and warehouses were the envy of all.
All right, so obviously a whole new city coming into the game, Cintranos, called the Jewel of the South, so it's probably, some spectacular spot. And as we can see, there's Galen War involved somewhere in here. Some kind of history. I don't even know if I spelled that right, but it is what it is.
The Galen War nearly ruined the city and robbed it of its luster. But the Cintranosi spirit of hospitality still endures. So grab your bags and follow me on a guided tour of this once great city. Starting in its bustling commercial heart. Cobble Market.
All right, so we already know one area of the game, Cobble Market, that's going to be coming in. What does that mean? I don't know.
It used to be a magical place on market day. The smell of spices wafting up on the breeze. The sounds of the hawkers selling their finest wares. Now, well, let's just say it's not exactly prime commercial real estate. Don't leave your belongings unattended, and watch out for pickpockets and undead horrors.
This is cool. So Cobble Market is an area that was like a big, I guess, in the history of this world, right? In the history of Centrosi, it was like the market, right? The place where people would go and sell stuff and buy stuff. I'm wondering if this means there's going to be some rework of the markets we actually have. I don't know. But also, it sounds like there's going to be some undead running around. So definitely we're going to have something to fight.
The town guard isn't very active these days. So you may have to take the law into your own hands if you're set upon by ruffians. A few swings of your sword and a couple of spells should do the trick. From Cobble Market, you can wander over one of Cintranos.
That's kind of interesting. It doesn't sound like it's anything too crazy, right? I mean, they're talking about ruffians and undead, and it sounds like it's pretty easy, right? Swords and some spells and no problem. So it's kind of an interesting take on that.
Cross as many bridges and see the grand Eclipse Tower looming over the city. Fun fact, the tower was originally used as a lighthouse during the city's heyday, referred to by locals as the Lantern Keep. That, of course, all changed when Amius the Lunar Archon swept into power. Now, this grand fortress is his main residence.
Right, Amius the Lunar Archon obviously sounds like a boss, right? The Grand Eclipse Tower sounds like another area of this game.
and you'll need more than an appointment to see him. You'll need to find 3 special keys to break through the tower's magical wards. But let's keep on with the tour.
All right, so obviously, somewhere in Centranos, we're going to have to get these 3 keys to be able to access this tower to fight Animus? I don't know. I'm actually curious if his name is Animus, but the Lunar Archon in his Eclipse tower. So that sounds like, definitely one of the areas of the game. And I would, I'm going to keep on the lookout for more references to keys. Seems like that's important.
Our next stop is Plagued with Charm. Now, I know what you're thinking, and yes, you're correct. Plagueholm is not the most inviting name. But underneath the overwhelming stench of death, the overloaded plague wagons, and the constant blood-curdling screams, there's really a lot to love. Originally Centranos' cultural hub, Plagueholm gained its unfortunate name during the Galen War, where the destruction of the city's flood defenses caused its streets to be submerged by a torrent of fetid water.
All right, so obviously, it's a plague area. So I would imagine a whole bunch of poison stuff is going to be here. But obviously, Plagueholm is the next name of the next city name or area name. I don't even know. Are these districts? Like, what is this? What we're going to be talking about here? Different areas of the city of Centranos, right? So that's kind of, is what it is.
It then became a mass dumping ground and, naturally, a home for all manner of plague and pestilence. But if you look closely, you can still make out some of the old theaters and cafes that used to line its picturesque boulevards. Keep your eyes peeled as you wind your way through Plagueholm. You never know who you might encounter.
Okay, so it used to be a theater district. I don't know how that's going to play into anything, but that's kind of interesting to think about.
Thanks to Amius's illusionary magic, you'll have noticed some celebrities moving among the gloom. Why, that's Borgoth the Scarab King hanging around with Hellraiser? Expect a battle for the ages if you decide to face off against this pair. And other fearsome duos that are roaming about, and who knows?
This is really interesting, right? We're talking about 2 different bosses in the same area, and other duos potentially there. Could be really interesting kind of, dungeon thing where you're facing off against multiple bosses. That's what it sounds like to me.
You may manage to pilfer a key to the Eclipse Tower should you come out the victor. That's enough.
And that's where we get the keys to the Eclipse Tower.
Plague talk. Let's move on to somewhere a little less aromatic. Blanketed in an eerie glow and bustling with gangs of demented minions, Deadrise is the home of Centranos' killer nightlife.
And this is the 3rd spot we can get to, Deadrise.
Fortune favors the bold, and you're bound to find some true treasures if you delve deep into this district's haunted streets. While wandering around, don't neglect the special quests you would have received upon entering Centranos. Completing them may yield something truly unexpected.
So this is interesting, right? We're going to have special quests just for Centranos. I think that is really interesting. And obviously, it's one of those things where you get these different clips. Is each information only about that location, or are they spread around? Like, I don't know. Are we going to have to do all the different locations for these quests, or is it only in this Deadrise area? It'd be real interesting to see.
Now, despite the aforementioned baleful glow and powerful sense of dread, Deadrise still remains one of the more high-class districts of Centranos. And that's reflected in the types of horrors you'll encounter walking through its snaking backstreets. Any enemies you defeat here drop better loot than the ruffians you can find in Cobble Market. And the apex predators that rule this region are magical reflections of some of Teleria's toughest bosses. So pack your best gear.
All right, this is really interesting. So already we have a reference to the ruffians in Cobble Market and what we're going to be facing here in Deadrise, and saying the loot in Deadrise is going to be better than what you find in Cobble Market. So we could be talking about different tiers of like the same type of dungeon work, right? Or the same type of, campaign work or leveling, whatever it is. That could be interesting. It could be completely different, and maybe the gear is just very separate. I don't really know, but that's a really interesting kind of point that we're getting out of that. Also really interesting is obviously, you're going to see some, again, big time bosses here, reflections of what's already out there. So I'm guessing we're going to see similar stuff to kind of what they were talking about the plague. We're going to see familiar bosses coming in maybe their skills are tweaked or their abilities are tweaked or something like that. That's also really interesting, I think.
Luckily, how you take in the sights of Deadrise is entirely up to you. Take on as many or as few challenges as you like. It's your trip, and any rewards you pick up won't be good if you're dead.
Sorry, I paused it a little early there. I think this is really interesting how you can kind of take on as little or as much as you want. This actually reminds me of Doom Tower a lot. And so I'm actually kind of curious as far as how they're going to be structuring this. How many levels we're going to be able to do. Like, what does that mean? Like, maybe it's an endless, maybe it's like an endless stream of fights, right? Where you just can't stop. You just see how long you can go. That could be really interesting as well. I'm real curious to see what they come up with here.
Now, let's turn our sights to the final leg of our Cursed City walking tour. Deep breaths, everyone. It's a long and perilous trek. And now, we arrive at the last stop on our Grand Centranos walking tour, Soul Cross.
Okay,
I'm glad you all made it across the ruined bridge, though it's possible we may not make the journey back. Once full of sailors, traders, and travelers here to explore the Jewel of the South. The only thing you'll find here now...
I also feel like that's not the first time they've referenced bridges. I don't know what that's going to mean, but that could be interesting.
...is terror beyond imagination. So, a perfect place for extreme thrill seekers. Should you get pulled into a brawl here in Soul Cross, expect the fight of your life and rewards to match. One such reward you'll find here are the enigmatic Cursed Remnants. It's not exactly one of Centranos' famous meat and eel pies, but it's something to take home with you to remember your unforgettable trip.
I have no idea what Cursed Remembrance are. Cursed Remnants are. I don't know what that is, but it does sound like this is going to be the toughest fights out of all these 4 areas. The way they described it makes it sound like it's going to be really difficult. That's interesting. So I don't know what that means, and I don't know what we're going to get out of this. It is called Soul Cross. Maybe we get Soul Stones. Maybe. I have no idea, actually.
There are some locations in Soul Cross and beyond so twisted by dark magics that only champions awakened to their truest potential are powerful enough to enter.
Okay, that's not very subtle. You have to have awakened champions in order to enter here. That makes sense. So it's got to be a team probably of all awakened champions, or the bonuses are just insanely high in order to like make it nearly impossible not to be able to work without them. Interesting.
I can't even begin to describe what foul creatures and challenges await in those dens of evil. But you can bet the treasures inside will be truly incredible.
All right, that's what we got. This sounds real interesting to me. I can speculate some about what I think some of this stuff means, what could be coming down the pipe here. I will say, I don't want to get into it too deep because we're doing, like I said, we're doing a very big collaboration. Myself, who do we got? We got myself, Cold Brew, Nub, YST, Senda, and Victor TES. We're all going to get together and talk about this tomorrow. So I don't want to spoil things and get too much into my own thoughts on this, but I know people have been really upset with like a lot of like, the way the game has been designed and stuff. I'm real curious to see if some of that stuff gets addressed with this, that they make some of these areas not what I would say like player friendly or beginner friendly necessarily, right? These are new challenges and they're going to want to make them big challenges for the people that have been here for a long time, like myself, for example. But I'm wondering what we're going to be able to get out of this. I definitely have some speculations that I think might help, change the community mind. Maybe it won't. Maybe none of that stuff will be in there, but, I want to get kind of, obviously I always want to have an optimistic sense. I am really excited about this. This sounds actually sounds like a lot of fun, right? We're talking about 4 distinct areas they talked about. There's also that, that tower, that Animus, whatever the lunar archon is in, right? The Eclipse tower. So, we're talking at least 4, maybe 5 different areas of the game that are going to be added. That seem like they could be a fun little challenge to go through. I'm really excited about this. I mean, it sounds like we're going to have dual bosses. So we're going to be able to use some familiar mechanics, but we're going to have to integrate them with other mechanics kind of being a part of it. And that can make it really interesting and really challenging. So this could be fun. This could be fun. I think it's going to be fun. Certainly a good challenge is needed, and I think that's a good thing. Getting a nice big new piece of content, an actual content, right? Not just talking about taking the stuff we already do and just, reformatting it like Hydra Clash, right? But actually dropping in something big and new. I think the last time we had something like this, what it sounds like anyway, was Doom Tower, and Doom Tower has been a huge success in my opinion. It offers you something new basically every single day, every month that changes pretty regularly. So that's a fun, continuous challenge. Even at some point it always gets old, but the idea of it and what it's designed to do, I think is really, really great. And it gives really good rewards. I'm hopeful this mimics that by giving us some really nice rewards. It sounds like that's a possibility. So I, like I said, I don't want to speculate too much right now. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. So if you guys are still here, remember, come by this channel, YouTube channel, Deadwoodjedi, tomorrow, 8 p.m. UTC. I should probably look that up. I'll put it down. I'll put it on the screen somewhere, what time that is in Eastern Standard Time, what time that is Pacific Standard Time. So no matter where you are in the world, you should be able to figure it out in your time zone. Come by, hang out with us. We're probably just going to chat for about an hour. We have some new, some new stuff to share with you guys. I think you'll be, kind of geeked out to check it out. Yeah, that's the plan. That's what we're going to be doing. I'm really excited about this. So I can't wait to see you guys there. That's all I got. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss when we go live. You don't want to miss that. That's all we got, guys. So thanks for stopping by. I'll get the hat on tomorrow. For sure, I'll have the hat on. But yeah, that's all we got. So till next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.